We now have Portland Nightshader shirts and hoodies down in the description below. Be sure to pick one up today if you do want to support us moving into the APA and NCP season. Hey guys, John Jr. here, bringing you guys another APA video. Basically, we made some transactions, some really big ones actually, and these won't go into effect until week 2 against Bin and his Charlotte Charizards. But there's some pretty big transactions, man, so I wanted to go over them, give you guys some slides. After some long and deliberate thinking and discussing with Jason, we both came to the conclusion that GMAX Toxtricity is awful. As much as I love regular Toxtricity, it's actually my favorite Pokemon to use in draft this generation. The GMAX version is awful. Once you turn Boom Burst into Max Strike, it's not very strong at all. The damage output goes from like let me load up a calc for you guys. Let's take a max HP Alcremia, a pretty bulky Pokemon. A regular Boom Burst from a Toxtricity does about 47 to 56%. Once we Dynamax, that goes down to 36 to 43% from Boom Burst. That's so bad, dog. Like, that is not good. The damage output, I thought that maybe we could deal with it, but having no item really hurts because we can't throw on a Silk Scarf, we can't throw on Choice Specs, we can't throw on anything like that. So I've come to the conclusion the GMAX Tox is very, very bad. But in this place, we are picking up GMAX LaDawn. LaDawn's a very cool Pokemon and it fills a lot of really cool roles on the team. First and foremost, it's a Steel type, which is very, very good for both Kyurem and Terrakion. The only downside is weak to ground as well as fighting. Terrakion's weak to ground, and both of them are weak to fighting, but we do cover that up a little bit in just a second. But it helps with fairies. It really, really helps offensively with fairies. It gives us a really good speed tier. Another Pokemon offensively pressure things under webs. And it's actually usable when it Dynamaxes, which is awesome. I really needed that. LaDawn here has the poopiest Spadef you'll ever see in your life, but that is counteracted with the fact that we can double our HP to kind of push that to the side and be like, well, whatever. It has decent enough coverage to be usable. You know, it can use Body Press because it has really good defenses. It can use Thunderbolt. It can use Earthquake. It can use, you know, Dual Stabs, obviously. It's a really cool Pokemon to be able to use in this type of format. It gives us another Rocker as well, which is very important. And while it does have a lot of weaknesses, a lot of similar weaknesses, and is a Steel that doesn't resist Fairy, looking at it now, that might be a big issue. I think we can offensively pressure fairies enough. We don't really switch into them defensively. The only other option was to get GMAX Corviknight, but if we did that, our points were still looking really weak. We couldn't fix our team in other areas. It really came down to, I think this was the only usable plus 40 point GMAX Pokemon, so we got it. Next drop we made, since we got the extra 40 points, we had a lot of points to spend, so we dropped Copperajah, which very reluctantly, I must say. I really like that Pokemon in Draft League format, but I'm sure Kirby is somewhere screaming and pumping his fist in the air of happiness. But instead of that, we got Bisharp, a second Steel, another Steel that doesn't resist Fairy, which isn't very good and is something that I'm very uncomfortable with. But offensively, this thing really puts on the hurt on Fairies, and it also helps with Psychics as well as Ghosts, which both of which we actually really, really struggle with because we're dropping a little Impersion, by the way. That mon's gone. That mon is awful, and I hate that Pokemon. I prepped with it. I ran some calcs. It is horrible. Bisharp, however, is a Pokemon that I am very comfortable with using. I love this Pokemon so much. It is a very good Pokemon, one of my favorites from Unova, and it's a really good offensive threat. This Pokemon again adds another Rocker, which, you know, just kind of counteracts losing Copperajah. It does give another fighting weakness, which is not very good, but Bisharp's weak to like everything anyway, so it's like whatever. And really the only reason we got it was to help us with Psychics and Ghosts, both of which we very much struggle with offensively and defensively. They just tear through us. Bisharp with Sucker Punch, with nope, no more Pursuit. Oh no. Knock off back. Like, it's a really good Pokemon, man. I'm really excited to use this Pokemon. Next up, I told you we were dropping Stinky Alolan Impersion, which we did do, and instead we picked up Garbodor. This is a very good Pokemon this generation. It gives us both Spikes and T-Spikes, so we're running a Hazard Stack team, which is something I'm so comfortable with. Pair that with Bisharp's Defiant, and I think we've got a phenomenal team so far. Garbodor's main purpose here is to be a Fairy Resist. While it may not be the most reliable Fairy Resist, it is a Fairy Resist alongside Chandelure, and I think that is very important to have at least 2 of those with how weak our team is to that. But Spikes and T-Spikes added on is phenomenal. It gives me a very fun playstyle that I'm very comfortable with in Hazard Stack. It lets us have a switch into really tough fairies if we do face any of those later on, you know, except for Hatterene, which offensively, I guess we destroy Hatterene, but defensively, we don't have a good time. That's all there is to say. Garbodor's an actual Pokemon, and Alolan Impersion isn't. This was brought to you by Garbodor, gang. And then the last drop. I told you guys I dropped Snom for Blossom, but I didn't bring Blossom to a week, so technically, I dropped Snom for Lysapod. I don't know how this Pokemon's a tier 4 Pokemon. This Pokemon is phenomenal, helps us with more Hazard Stack with Spikes, very good at defensive pivot as far as Fizz Def goes, kind of sucks Spadef, and its ability is really stinky, but otherwise, it is a great Pokemon. I use this Pokemon in in GDL, another league that I was in, and I didn't have a lot of fun with it, so I dropped it really early on, and I kind of regretted it actually because it was kind of fun to prep with. Giving us 3 forms of priority with First Impression, Aqua Jet, and Sucker Punch is really nice. It helps with a lot of things. Again, helps us offensively pressure ghosts and sidekicks, which when we have Bisharp, I don't really think we need as much, and just giving us different forms of priority is very nice. And again, helping us with the hazard stack, which is phenomenal. I love that so much, and I'm so comfortable with hazard stack. It gives us a ground resist, it gives us a fighting resist, it fits a lot of roles, and it gives us double water. And I told you guys in my draft analysis, I am a double water man. So short, sweet, and to the point, those are going to be our transactions for APA this season. This is the squad we're rocking with, and I think it's a very good squad. It's a squad that I am very comfortable with, and I think we did nothing except make this team better. We went from having 3 Pokemon that I was probably never going to bring, and as much as I hate to say it, we were probably never going to bring Toxtricity. That Pokemon was not good, man. It is GMAX. But we went from that, Alolan Persian, and Blossom / Snom into Lysapod, Odor, and LaDawn, which is very nice. So, like I said, these do take effect week 2. If you guys are excited for our transactions, please let me know down below. But for now, guys, this has been John Jr. signing off.